Flat stats are trash. What? Prove it. What up, team? It's your boy MurderInc here, back again with another banger of a video. Raid Shadow Legend, talking about the myth flat stats, insta-sell. Listen, we got stuff to talk about here today. First of all, yes, I do wear glasses. Get over it. Let me put them back on and take them off dramatically for you. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so now that that's settled, let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. I did just have a artifact video talking about flat stats. People were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean these are good? I've been selling these forever. I'm going to go over based on the gear that I have. Okay? Showing you the flat stats. Some of them I have sold because I've upgraded since then, but I do still have a bunch. So I'm going to give you every single breakdown I can replicate with my account here as to why you shouldn't just be selling flat stats. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, don't get insulted if this doesn't matter to you. Resistance and accuracy chest pieces, as well as speed boots. Don't get insulted. I'm saying it because I've seen it. They are not flat stat, okay? I've seen posts about this on Reddit before. I just got this garbage flat stat chest. I'm looking at it. It's accuracy with double speed roll, and I'm thinking, God help this man. God help this man. There's no way he's selling that. It was a 6-star piece too, which was insane. But just to clarify, those are not flat stat pieces. They're very good pieces, so on and so forth. So with that being said, let's get down to business here. Where can you use flat stats? So a few places. Let's talk about, and it's going to be broken down into a top row and bottom row. What I mean by top row is the weapon, the helmet, the shield, and bottom row, of course, being the gloves, chest piece, and boots. I will also go over accessories. That's going to be a little bit more in depth, so bear with this video, stay with it. You don't want to miss anything here because it's absolutely insane. Not as insane as the fact that half of you watching here right now are not subscribed. What are you doing? Pause this video, hit the subscription button, hit the bell so you're notified every time I upload, and let's get back to the video. Okay guys, so here we go for weapon. Let's start out with this first here. Now, going to the weapon, of course, we have flat attack on the base of the weapon, so you have to rule out certain flat stats here. If I am looking for a defensive champion, right? I am going to be searching for HP, flat HP, where are you? If they have accuracy, I'm going to go for accuracy. If you want resistance, I'm going to go for resistance. And then finally, speed. Now, the question for you guys is, and here's a good example of a piece here. What else would I be replacing flat HP for? I'm asking you guys. You would never consider selling this even if you rolled once into flat HP, twice into flat HP. The effect can be huge depending on the base stats of the champions. If they have very low base health, HP percent is going to be good, but a lot less effective on a champion that has 13,000 base health than a champion that has 23,000 base health that we see on quite a few champions. So keep these things in mind when you're looking at gear here. I'm not assuming anyone's going to sell something like this. This is kind of a lower point here, but as far as a perfect piece goes, this is an example of a perfect piece for a champion that wants survivability, speed, as well as accuracy here. So that's going to be the same through and through to pretty much all of this here. If you want to know what a meta helmet's going to look like, flat attack is already out the window here. So this is pretty self-explanatory here. This is an example where flat attack and flat stats overall would not apply, but this is purely for a damage dealer. We have speed, attack percent, crit damage, crit rate. What else could it be for a flat stat, right? But once again, if you wanted to go back to a survivability champion, this is where it gets interesting. So we have flat HP on the helm already. So we want speed, of course, because it's always good. HP percent, defense percent, and then flat defense, because what else would we do? I guess you can make a point and say, what if I want resistance? What if I want accuracy? Those are good points as well, but for most content, accuracy, chest piece, and banner together, combined with whatever great hull you have, and the neck piece, if you have a necklace with any accuracy in the substats, it's going to get through, I want to say, 95% of the game for you. So with that being said, let's just take a look at this random piece here. We have HP percent, flat defense on the bottom, 2 rolls into defense percent, and then a speed roll. So these are all good pieces, and this is why you might just shrug it off. But if you want to know about the perfect pieces, flat stats almost always, besides that example I showed you about a nuker, play some type of role in this. So the top row, really self-explanatory. Where it gets interesting is going to be this bottom row here. And we're going to cleanse everything here. Now we're going to only click on flat stats, only flat stats. Now, where would you ever keep a flat stat glove or a flat stat chest piece? This is where, when you're first building your account, even if you're into late game where I am, or end game, not late game, speed is king for so many accounts here. And you're gonna have to excuse the current state of my account. I have so much trash gear. Like, what is this? Flat attack? That's not what I'm talking about here. But I have plus 15 gear pre-saved for clan versus clan down the line here. So we have all of the flat stats picked here. Let's just slowly go through. Okay, here's a perfect example. On a resistance champion, right? I want resistance, I want speed, or I want accuracy, and I want speed. Now, I would never get rid of a piece like this, because if you know how resistance champions work in the current meta for arena, you're always going to pair them with someone with the shield set. So the fact that this is flat defense, it doesn't matter. I get 53 resistance from this set of gloves on top of 16 speed. This is huge. I'm never getting rid of this pair of gloves. I've used it many times in platinum on reset. It's been fantastic for me. So this is a perfect example of one set of gloves that I would never get rid of that are flat stat. You should be looking for this too, because speed, resistance, and accuracy, those are going to be the reoccurring themes for this specific topic. Of course, there's going to be more down the line as far as where you would keep flat stats. Now moving on to immunity gear, one of the hardest gear sets to get proper stats on. Another perfect example here, flat attack chest piece. Never sell something like this. I triple rolled speed. I used this for such a long time on my arbiter. I can't tell you how long, because speed with immunity is such a pain to get. You need high rolls if you want to compete. We have hegemons everywhere. We have torments everywhere. They're an absolute nuisance. The thing is, I don't care how tanky these champions are. Right off the bat, I care about speed and speed alone. I want to make sure I'm getting my turn in and I'm not being CC'd by whatever they throw at me. So this is a perfect example of a piece you should always roll to +4, +8 before you just get rid of it. This concept that as soon as you see a flat stat, you're just disregarding it and throwing it out, not good at all. Now, the same thing does apply to stats other than speed. I will go over that momentarily. This one is a nice hybrid of speed and accuracy for a champion like, I want to say, Warlord maybe, or yes, I know Warlord would definitely be able to use something like an accuracy chest piece, but you have to use what's available to you. If I was going for a different type of Warlord, focusing on something else, all I really cared about was speed. I want to make sure speed's my #1 priority, and then I'll find a way to mix in the substats of accuracy anywhere else that I can, because honestly, not everybody has accuracy chest pieces with double rolls or triple rolls of speed on it. It's not a common piece, especially in a niche set like immunity gear, which is overpowered in the arena. I'm pretty sure we all know that. So this is another example of a champion, Madame Ceres. Perfect example. This would be a great Madame Ceres chest piece if you didn't need all of that accuracy, of course, and you could kind of subsidize it in other pieces of gear. Now, I don't want to trigger endgame people because, like I said, this is going to be less of an endgame thing and more of a progression thing. Obviously, this piece is in my inventory, which means that I'm not currently using it because by now I have plenty of accuracy chest pieces with double or triple roll speed sets, but we all have to start somewhere, and a piece like this is a perfect starting piece for lots of champions, whether it's strictly off of speed with accuracy as a kind of a side thing or something to work towards. So the fact that I used a 6-star glyph means I used this piece for a long time and it was worth the investment. So these are all things that you have to take into consideration when considering flat stats. Another piece of gear, it's always going to be stun set. I do have a hegemon, so this could be unique to many champions, not just hegemon, but I don't care about damage, I don't care about survivability. All I want is accuracy and all I want is speed. So the fact that these are flat, I got a double roll in speed, I got a single roll in accuracy, I'll take it. Anything is better than nothing. So this is another perfect example of using the 3 most common substats to aim for when using flat stat gear, being speed, accuracy, and resistance. Outside of this piece, I do believe I have another chest piece here. This one's a throwaway for sure. Now this one right here, another perfect example for someone like a Madame Ceres. Perception gear, we all know it gives an accuracy bonus here. Double speed roll, single accuracy roll. Why wouldn't I keep this? Why wouldn't I keep this? Unless I get a better piece, I get lucky, I get HP percent. Crit rate is less beneficial to any champion that would use a piece like this than flat HP or flat defense. That's another key thing to realize here. If you think me getting 60% crit rate on a Madame Ceres with these speed accuracy gloves is going to be more beneficial than 4,080 health, you're crazy. You're just crazy. So this is one thing I want to drive home here. Do not just disregard flat stat gear based on this. Now that's the main concept here for these substats. Now this is where it gets even more interesting. Talking about how to balance main stat and substats with flat attack, flat HP, flat defense, and why it's best. So let's take an example here. We have crit damage gloves, the most sought after item in the game. I see in every single takeover I do. You want crit rate, you want attack percent, and then you want speed. What else do you want for a damage dealing champion? Don't care about accuracy, we're here to nuke people, right? What's the next best stat? You guessed it, attack, flat attack. Now, I'm washed, I have terrible gear. Obviously I don't have this, but this would be a perfect piece of gear here. And it's kind of heartbreaking that I don't have a piece to show you guys. I feel like a failure now, but it is what it is. So attack percent, flat attack, crit rate, speed in the substats, plus crit damage. Now, I'm not saying you want flat attack rolls here, but any extra attack is going to be huge for dealing damage, as you guys already know, because attack percent's good. So that's the case for this specific scenario here. Now, moving on to something, actually, we'll stick with damage gear for just one moment here. So now we're going to go with chest piece and boots here. If you want an attack percent chest piece and you want attack percent boots, this is the meta right here. Attack percent main stat, crit damage, crit rate, speed, and then attack. I have one chest here. Not terrible, not crazy. We didn't get any rolls in flat attack, which is good. But look at this. We have 43 after it's glyphed, extra attack. 43 attack is nothing to kind of shrug off. That's a decent amount of attack that I pretty much got for free. HP wouldn't do anything for me here. Defense wouldn't do anything for me here. So this is a lot of attack to get where people were probably just disregarding it before then. The same thing applies to boots. It looks like I only have one solid pair of boots here, but look at this. I even got a single roll here. Would I have preferred crit damage? It's possible. There's a damage formula we're going to go over a little bit later when I talk about Man-Eater specifically, but 82, because I got a max roll here, extra attack. Think about adding 82 attack to a champion of yours and then saying, oh, I probably would have got rid of this if I rolled the first +4 roll on flat attack, right? You just wouldn't do it, or you shouldn't do it at least. Always wait and see what you roll next, because this is an example of a perfect piece of gear in pretty much every sense. The rolls might not be ideal for where I personally wanted them, but as far as the substats go that are preset onto this piece of gear, they're very strong, and they are second to none here. So that's the example I have, and now we're going to move into some of the more tanky versions here. So shield sets are very strong in this game. Now, people were asking me why I wanted flat HP. Now, if you don't know with the rolls, I've gone over this in a video before. The rolls of flat stats can be very high if you have glyphs. So let's take a look at this right here. This one is not that good. Okay, look at this. Just look at this for a second. We have HP percent gloves here with a triple roll on flat HP. If you're using a shield set champion, you know how this works. It takes a percentage of your total health and adds it as a shield for everybody. The best combinations you can have on the bottom roll is going to be HP percent with flat HP. 1800 health, that's a lot of health to get from a flat stat, no matter how you look at it. Think about your champions, think about adding an additional 1803 without any glyphs on it. Imagine if this was glyph. So this is just a perfect example here. Let me see if I have a glyph. This can add up to 750. Imagine another 750 on top of this, and imagine if I got really good rolls on the values of HP. This could be an insane piece of gear. Why it's plus 15? We already know, clan versus clan. Great content for this game overall. Moving on to chest pieces here. Once again, I have HP percent on a rare piece that I still keep. I still use 1,318 additional HP to this champion, and in return spread throughout all the other champions from the shield set. Great piece. I keep this forever. And now moving on to, I believe I don't have any good legendary rolls here. So we have a single roll there at 900. We have nothing there, and then okay, so this is the double roll here. So we have 1189 plus 475 HP percent boots with flat HP. Another perfect example of where you would really want to use this to your advantage. Now, who else does this work for besides shield sets? This sounds really niche, right? Think about someone like Iron Brago, who stacks very well with defense. This would mean defense percent with flat defense is great for him. And that would also apply to gloves, chest piece, and boots if you can swing it. If you can't swing it, don't worry about it. So one last thing that I just thought of now that I do want to touch on is going to be going over the boots here, the fact that we're getting rid of a main set of speed here. So if you're looking for perfect boots, let's start with the damage dealer. Crit rate, crit damage, attack percent. You guys have already been watching the video. You know what I'm going to say next. Flat attack. This is where things get really good. We're going to talk about Maneater, so I'm glad this was brought up, but Maneater has very low base attack. So if you're looking at percentages and the gain of percentages to a Maneater when you use attack percent, you're going to get a very low amount of attack for 1% attack, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when it comes to flat attack, if your rolls are right, you can get even more damage having rolls in flat attack than you can from getting a roll in crit rate, a roll in crit damage, and then one roll in attack percent, as opposed to 2 rolls or 1 roll in flat attack here. So you have to be keeping these things in mind and keep watch on things like this. So this is one example here. If the champion is a defensive nuker, what do? Swap defense percent and flat defense in. I only have one piece. If it's HP, same exact thing. HP percent and then flat HP. And you find speed, crit rate, crit damage, HP percent, and flat HP. There you go. It's that simple. And the same thing applies for survivability with speed boots. You won't need crit rate. You won't need crit damage. So what else do? HP percent, defense percent, flat HP, flat defense. I have one pair. Let's just take a look, right? Let's take a look. There's no better survivability grouping of stats than this right here. And what do you know? 2 of them are percentages and 2 of them are flat. So this whole theory that flat stats, if they roll into it, are going to be garbage, don't discredit it too quickly before looking at it, thinking about the champion it's going on, because like I said, champions scale differently. If you notice this the most in early game. In early game progression, when your champions are level 40, they're level 50, 4-star, 5-star, whatever, you'll notice that flat stats as the main stat give you higher overall stats than percentages do. Why is that? Because they're starting with insanely low base values. So all you have to do is a little bit of math if you want to, or you can just be lazy and use the fitting room, hit try on, compare 2 items and say, oh, it does look like this flat stat piece is going to prove better and more survivability, durability, whatever you want to call it, for the champion I'm using here. So that's kind of where I noticed this first when I didn't notice it the first time going through the game because who the heck is looking that closely? But as you get more into the game, you start realizing these things, and I don't know why it took me this long to make a video, but we are making the video now. So the last point we're going to talk about here today is going to be when to use flat stats over percentages, and this is where it comes down to Maneater here. Now I don't have the piece currently on. Why can't I use crit damage here? What's going on? Am I crazy? Why can I not select crit damage in the substats? I have flat attack here. Okay, so I guess something's wrong, or I'm just not looking at this correctly, but this right here, flat attack with a triple crit damage roll, is huge. But you can't just say, oh, this is going to be way better for Maneater straight out the gate here. What you have to do is you have to go to your Maneater, wherever it is. Mine, unfortunately, are geared pretty poorly because Hydra takes up the best gear in your account. Once a week, we've gone over that way too many times to talk about any more here. So let's take a look at this really quickly. I need to find an attack percent upgrade. We have 20% here on the ring. So let's see what we're dealing with here. We need a 6-star. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. Why is it, okay, attack and then attack percent. Why it's not letting me click on it, I'm really not sure. So we have, what did we say? This ring had, now I gotta double check. Now I have to double check. Get rid of the fitting room. Okay, so we have 20% attack right now. Going back to this, it's the War Mother ring. So from 20% attack, 3% attack is equal to 25 attack overall. Think about that. 3% attack is 25. So let's just go to our calculator really quick. 25 divided by 3 equals, you're getting 8.33333 attack for 1%. Wow. Okay. So now let's compare that to flat attack, right? So for flat attack, we have, let's just take a random piece here. Okay, I think it was the boots that this guy has. Yes, the boots. Okay, so the boots are, let's go back to our calculator, 102. So 8.3, we're just going to do 8.3. So 102 divided by 8.3 equals, this is 12.2 attack right here without a glyph, right? 12.2. So in theory, I can roll much better if I get a triple attack roll. However, this alone doesn't make attack percent better for Maneater. The reason why is there's a formula for how you calculate damage. That formula is crit rate times crit damage. Actually, I can just show it to you guys. So let's compare this necklace right here with the War Mother one. So we have fitting room, we have 3.3 thousand attack here, 95% crit rate. Don't look at this, just pretend that you don't see it. 95% crit rate's fine. 85% is okay for clan boss. You're gonna do the damage anyways if you gear them properly, but don't hold this against me. Not crit cap, by the way. I get it, okay? So if you want to know the damage formula, this is what you do. You take the amount of attack and we make it a decimal. 3.36 multiplied by 3.17. Where did I get this from? It's from the formula. You add 100 to the crit damage and you make it a percentage, equals 10.65. So this is my damage number right here. Now let's go ahead, swap on in the fitting room this right here. Let's try it on, and now we're going to redo the formula and see which one ends up better. Okay, so we have 3.53 times 3.03 equals 10.69. So the flat attack necklace with crit damage is 0.4 better than a crit damage necklace with flat attack rolls on it. It's that simple. If you're curious about this formula, we will link you the thumbnail of the video where I explain how to do this. It's really easy math. You can do it whenever you want to. This is the proper way to calculate damage all the time, right? This is just the proper way. So what I'm going to do is flip that one real quick so we get that out of the way. More damage. I'm not going to fix my crit rate live on here, but you know what? We want to get upgrades, so I use a couple glyphs here. +8, deserved for not being crit cap. +14, I will take it. Now let's just go with like a +3 here. That would be net. Hey, content creator luck. What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? So that was the example. That's why it was important to show you here. Look at Maneater's base attack, 837. So don't just discount flat stats over percentages. I did use this necklace as an example here. I was kind of hoping it would work out. I didn't really know, but crit damage, of course, is a percentage. Attack is, of course, not. It's flat stats. So this is another example among many where flat stats can outdo percentages, even when it comes down to something like crit damage as opposed to attack. Now, if you wanted to get technical, the fact that I'm using 95% crit rate is overall a loss for me. I do get that. The fact that it's not 100% means I'm losing value in crit damage here. So there's that argument to be made as well. One other thing that's important to talk about is champions with low base attack, you want to make sure you're not taking this like I am, so don't do what I do. And you want to make sure you're getting plus 75 attack. This all adds up and it does mean a lot going forward for these champions. And for some reason I'm wearing a 5-star chest piece. Get me out of here. Alright team, so that's going to conclude this video today, breaking down the myth about flat stats, that they're just terrible. Instant sell, don't do that. Think about what you're doing. Know who to invest in. Silver is not something you can just start getting rid of. I understand that, but you shouldn't be passing up on upgrades just because you have this idea in your head that all flat stats are terrible, and there's no way a percentage can be worse than a flat stat. Substats mean way too much in this game. Glyphs are crazy in this game, so with that fact alone, you have to consider all of your options when making decisions here, and in this case, flat stats can and most often do appear on top for very specific roles that are very commonly used throughout this game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Give me some feedback, leave some comments on all of the gear you've unfortunately deleted, or maybe you just don't buy this at all and just want to keep skipping this. Whatever makes you more silver, it's your account. You are of course free to do whatever you would like. But if you're still watching right now, I appreciate all of you. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.